This is a little video I'm putting together, just going over my thoughts from running Rime of the Frostmaiden. I run every week for 6 players, and we're in the main necropolis, and I've been running some of the extras that have been appearing on the DM's Guild. So in this case, and this week, they ended up starting off in the Tower of Divination. So yeah, we had a decent looking map that they had made for this part of the adventure with the extra content. An interesting storyline is sort of set up in here, in that one of the characters gets a vision of waves and waves of attacks from Toughts coming into the room, and basically, yeah, they get to sense that before it happens, and then figure out what they're going to do with a couple of ideas thrown in. But yeah, so I think the way it's written in the actual adventure itself, or in the extras, shall we say, is that it's kind of set up in you prepare for a couple of rounds, and then you work through it slowly but surely, and you add in wave. The fight continues in waves of Toughts coming in. My players went a different route, and it's one I didn't think of at the time on that one, to be honest. But yeah, it is the way it played out. They decided that let off a small explosion down here by triggering the sun that they were aware of. So they knew that was going to take a few out, and then run up the stairs, and not knowing anything about what was going to be on the upper floors. So yeah, so this sort of changed the dynamic of things quite dramatically. So I basically had that they had time to get up to the floor above, so pausing the combat. But basically, it changed the wave structure to it just when they were going to be trying to bash through the door from the trapdoor on the floor above that they were hiding in, and would be trying to come at them all at once. So they would have a chance to do a few larger explosions and bits like that. But I think the way it's written in the story, with the waves and going through, absolutely fine. I think that would have been a much more interesting fight. But yeah, no plan survives the enemy on that front. But yeah, basically in this case, where my players changed the dynamic, had to deal with there being a giant slard up in the tower. It did poorly on some of the checks, and also they were in the middle of a combat, and yeah, so it just became a long slog of a fight, which it's fine to run in Foundry. I mean, there's certainly no problems with keeping it moving forward. Unlike maybe if it was on a table game, it might have got even longer as a slog. But yeah, it definitely changed the dynamic of this one and moved it into a less interesting fight, in my opinion, because it just became trying to clump them up on the stairs and holding out that way. I think they found it fairly tough, but not too dramatic on that front. But yeah, just a bit less interesting. I think the thing that did work more overall was the next part that they did later on within the actual episode, which was they ended up going to the wellspring of answers. So this is straight out the book. As is, nothing's changed really about any of this. I gave the monster a different token and some more hit points, which for my 6 players is always kind of needed. But yeah, this is one of those ones where they could have just got the information. The idea is that you sit on the crystal benches around the outside of the well, and you just make you can make a lore check or one, but I had it so that they could each get a little bit of lore, which led to a few interesting tidbits for some of their characters, which is quite nice. However, one of the characters, our wizard of the group, Linus, did end up rolling very low, which, because as they were all rolling, was more likely. So it did turn this into a combat. But this is kind of like an odd version of a Hydra. As they started killing the heads off, more were coming out. So I think this was more successful as a combat overall than the Tower of Divination, but not through a design problem on the tower. I think more literally just my players changing where and how that fight was going to go down. But yeah, overall, I think the second half of the episode was definitely an improvement once we got past the slog of the first combat. My only thing is, obviously, I like my sessions to be half and half, less combat than we had that last night. Purely because the combat does start to feel like a slog if you're doing nothing but that. But sometimes it's unavoidable. But in this case, not bad. Somewhere in between. Certainly thinking the second fight was better. But I think they'll be moving on. My gut feeling is they're taking a long rest actually now in the city. I imagine they'll be trying to head to one of the towers close by. They may check out a couple of these items off to this side nearby, but I imagine the Tower of Necromancy will be the next real goal. But all the maps are all set up thanks to having the extras from the DMs Guild. But I'll put all the links in the description below. Thank you.